Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you and talk about my 10 favorite makeup brushes. If I had to get rid of all my makeup brushes and I could only keep 10, these are the ones that I would keep. This was actually a lot harder than I would have thought it would have been because I figured 10 brushes, no problem. I can just, you know, show you all my favorites and maybe even some that aren't my favorites, but as it turns out, I have more than 10 that are my absolute favorites, and I don't think that I could get by with just these 10. I think I would need maybe one or two more besides this, but I figured, all right, let's just do, you know, a top 10 video. So I'm going to show you my 10 favorites. Now, the other day I had said that I bought something that was kind of expensive, and that I try not to buy anything expensive because it's just not in my budget. I mean, if I'm going to do these kind of videos, I have to keep my purchases within a certain price range, otherwise I can't do these videos. So anyway, I did buy something that was a little more expensive than I would normally pay, and it was a makeup brush. But if it's something that you're going to use every single day to do your makeup, then I feel like I can kind of justify that expense if I'm going to use it every day, especially where it's a tool. If it's something that's well made, that's not going to fall apart, then I think maybe it is worth it to spend a little bit more, but it isn't crazy expensive either. So let me get right down to it, and I'm going to start with that particular brush just in case you were curious the other day when I alluded to that in my video, what I was talking about. It's another one of the Real Techniques Bold Metals collection brushes. I picked up number 300, which is the tapered blush brush, and it comes in this box. It's one of the ones that has a rose gold handle on it, and it looks like this. Now, when it comes to blush brushes, some people prefer a larger brush, some people like a smaller brush. I am one of those people that likes a smaller brush, but you can do the same thing with this as you would with a larger blush brush. The reason why I like it to be smaller in terms of the brush part of it is because you can get more precise placement when you're dealing with pigmented blushes. However, because of the type of hair on this, you can also blend it out if you need to, or blend it in. Or you can just stipple it on. You can do whatever you need to do with a blush brush like this. However, with a larger brush, you're somewhat limited to what you can do, because if there's too many brush hairs, you can't always get the placement that you would like to get. It just sort of goes everywhere. So anyways, I really love this, and I'm glad I got it. This is my third Real Techniques Bold Metals collection brush. And so far, you know, the three that I have, I'm really happy with them. So, you know what, I'm wondering, wait a minute, do I have 3 or 4? Hold on a second. I had to stop and check. I wanted to make sure the information I was giving you was accurate. Yeah, this is my third one. And the other two that I have, by the way, these brushes are dirty because I just used them like seconds ago. I'll go wash all my brushes after I finish the video. The other two that I have, just in case you missed that video, is the 301 contour brush. I use this every day to do my face contour. And the 201 pointed crease brush, and I use this, I would say about half the time I use this for my crease eyeshadow work, and only because I've been using a lot of ColourPop eyeshadows lately. Not today, but a lot of times I've been using ColourPop eyeshadows, and those I have to use a sponge tip applicator to do my crease work with. But the other half of the time I've been using this. So what I can tell you just in general about these brushes is they're fairly expensive. The new one that I just got, the blush brush, that was $23.99, which is expensive in terms of Real Techniques brushes. It's also just expensive, I feel, in terms of any brushes, because you can get MAC brushes even for less money than that. So they're pretty expensive. However, they're very sturdy, very well made, and hold up to multiple deep cleanings over and over and over again every single day. And they don't seem to shed or fall apart or anything like that. So it's an investment. It's an investment, but I feel like it's well worth it. Now, I can only speak about these 3 particular brushes because I haven't tried the other ones that are in the collection. I know there have been some negative reviews about some of the other brushes. Some people didn't like them. They found them difficult to use. But these 3 here, I feel like they're pretty safe. And since I've been contouring with this flat contouring brush, I could never go back to contouring with the brushes that I was using before to contour, because this just makes it so much easier. And with all 3 of these brushes, they blend out any product that you're using like a dream and just make it so easy, but yet you can do a precise placement too. And I find that these brushes also pick up a lot of products, so if you get them and start using them, just keep that in mind, that when you dip them into whatever product you're using, they seem to pick up more product than the average brush would. So just kind of, you know, dab it in there to start until you get a feel for it. So love these 3, and they're definitely in my top 10 now. Okay, next would be my Sephora Pro Flawless Airbrush. And this is number 56. I love this for any liquid or cream foundation. And I've had brushes before for foundation that I loved, and then I started using this, or after I purchased this and started using it, I fell in love with it, and this is just amazing for liquid or cream foundation. And yeah, so this would definitely be in my top 10, and again, you know, a little more expensive because it's Sephora, but it holds up well to cleanings, it doesn't shed, it doesn't fall apart. Wonderful brush. I highly recommend that for cream and liquid foundations. Also included in my top 10 is, and I should have done this next, is another Real Technique brush. This is called the Accent Brush, and this is just from their regular line. This is part of the Eye Essentials kit, and I definitely recommend that kit. However, something to keep in mind with the Real Techniques brushes that are in those kit collections is they're not really that well made. I hate to say that because I love Sam and Nick. I think they're awesome, but it's true that these brushes are really not that well made, but they're inexpensive. You know, you can pick up one of these kits for very little money, but I have had issues with some of those brushes falling apart where the handle meets the ferrule. And I'm very careful about when I wash my brushes to try not to get any water in there so that it won't fall apart. But despite that fact, and I don't, you know, I know not to dry them at a certain angle or anything like that. I try to be careful about not getting water inside the ferrule, but despite that fact, I've had some of them fall apart and I've had to super glue them back together. But just the fact that I wanted to super glue them back together rather than toss them in the trash tells me that, you know, they are nice brushes that I really enjoy using, that I want to fix. So anyway, the Accent brush is part of the Eye Essentials kit, and I love this for taking, like for example, the eyeshadows that I have on today. I took one of those eyeshadows and then dragged it down along the lower lash line. I just like that look of the eyeshadows that I have on matching that, and I don't know. I go through phases, and I used to do that all the time before, and now I've started doing it again, but this is perfect to just get that nice placement right along the lower lash line, because some brushes deposit too much color and then you have to kind of wipe away the excess. This is going to give you the perfect amount of color every time. So that's the Real Techniques Accent brush that is part of the Eye Essentials collection. Okay, now the next ones I'm going to show you are e.l.f. brushes. They're all from their Studio line. and I absolutely love these too. The Flawless Concealer brush is fantastic for blending out any concealer. Love it, use it every day. The fan brush, how did I ever live without this? I never used to enjoy using a face highlighter, and I think it's because none of the brushes that I had were making that task any easier. Well, it's not a task anymore. Now it's a joy. I just use this only to do my face highlighter. Just run this across the product and then just very gently just glide this on the tops of my cheekbones, and now I do face highlighter every day because this brush makes it so simple. And last but not least is the E.l.f. eyeshadow C brush. What I use this for is to blend out any harsh edges when I do my eyeshadow. If I find that, you know, you can see a line between colors, I just blend it in between those two colors with this brush, and it's fantastic for that specifically. Next is a MAC brush, and this is the MAC 239 brush. If you have an eyeshadow that is not the most pigmented in the world and you're putting it on your lids, this will help you pack on that color. And I feel like of all the MAC brushes that I own, this is the one that is the most indispensable because it just makes that task so much easier. Last but not least is a lip brush, and this is the only lip brush that I have owned for the last 5 years because I don't feel the need to own any others because this one works perfectly. The problem is it's not available anymore, and it's one of those generic things that I picked up at a discount store. I did a video recently where I purchased some things at Ocean State Job Lot, which is a local discount store that's in New England and New York. And I found this there one day 5 years ago, and it's just a very generic, inexpensive brush. I bought it for $5, and it has been washed and used many times, probably hundreds of times, because like I said, it's the only lip brush I own. All I can tell you about this is on one side it says Fast Track, and on the other side it says Collection. So Fast Track Collection, and it's just great. It's just the perfect size and shape, and whenever I want to apply my lip products with a lip brush, I use this. I don't have anything else. I don't need anything else because I love this. So I hope this stays around and doesn't fall apart on me anytime soon, because I would have to do some research and homework to try to find something that was similar to this, and I seriously doubt I'd be able to find anything for $5, that's for sure. So love this. Oh, and by the way, the E.l.f. Studio brushes that I showed are $3, I believe. Gosh, I hope that's right. I'm pretty sure they're $3. Off the top of my head, I don't know the prices on all the other brushes, but you can always look them up online. So that is it. That is my top 10 favorite makeup brushes that I cannot live without. I could include one or two more that I really wouldn't want to be without either, but those are my favorites, or my current favorites I should say, because you know, these things do change over time. But those are my top 10 favorites, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.